Welcome guys to the official deep dive analysis of Magnify, kind of behind the scenes, how the song was written, all the cool nerdy stuff, and yeah, just how the song was made, the inspiration, cool stuff. I originally was going to make this video for his Insta tag name is like Manuel_9 something. Sorry, I forgot, but he's a cool guy from Germany, and he wanted me to go over this song, some specifics about it, but I'm like, you know what, I'll do more than that. So if you're one of the ones who voted you would definitely want to see this on our little Instagram poll, then here you go. This is part one. I can only fit so much on one page. I got to about halfway through the song. This is what you get for making a 13-minute song. But we'll talk about this big half first, and the next video we'll do the second half. So anyway, Magnify is based on the temple dedication by King Solomon, found in 1 Kings 8 verses 22 through 52-ish, somewhere around there. You read it for yourself, it's really cool. You know, I didn't intend on this song to be 13 minutes long. It was actually going to be like 10 and a half. But we'll get to why it turned out so big, probably in the next video. So anyway, let me explain how this chart works. We got to the left, we got your section, like my labeling, verse, bridge, chorus, opening, all that good stuff. Over here's the timestamp for all of that, like the Spotify timestamp. And then here's just the chord analysis of what's going on, you know, except these two sections where they're just riffs, they're basically just one or two chords involved anyway. So, okay, so Magnify, the opening riff, which we all know. Nice C sharp minor with a 7. I'm playing it wrong, but this is what I get when I'm trying to talk. That's your A9, and then we go to, this is the chord, at least in my opinion, that sets this riff apart. It's technically a G flat 6/5, which is a fancy way of saying it's a G flat major chord, but put with a 7, but put the 3rd in the bass, and that's what you got going on here. B flat's down there. Sorry, I just ruined that riff for you. It's been a while. So anyway, that's the opening. I came up with that section first because, you know, I was thinking of a more worshipful, reflective kind of vibe. But of course, we can't stay there. We can only chill out there for a minute and 5 seconds, because once the minute and 5 hits, we all know what happens next. It's blow up time. Boy, it's been a while. So chords here, pretty similar to this beginning here. As you guys can see, the only thing I'm really switching is I'm going to the minor version of this with some decoration on it. It's an F sharp minor 9 plus 13, which on a 7 string, oh yeah, I guess I should mention that. Diatheke is drop A on a 7 string, so it's just E standard tuning from the 6 string down. And then the bottom is another A. So that won't always be the case. So Splendor will be in a different tuning. Not too different, but you'll notice it's not the same. So anyway, once you guys realize that these 3 chords are pretty much what the whole song is based on, you'll realize, oh, there's not as much to this song as I thought. No, there isn't. There's just a way to deliver it that I'm going to get into later. So anyway, that whole thing goes on, and then verse 1 starts. The old caveman. There is no other. Yeah, I had to. I was thinking of this song, and I'm like, all right, I got all the intro stuff done. I need to go somewhere very easy, and every song needs a caveman riff, right? Or every long one. You can't have everything too complicated, because if it is all too complicated, there's no release. You need tension and release in music. It can't be always tense, and it can't always be light either. You need both of those concepts to fight with each other. That's what makes music the way it is, especially classical. And I write very classically, as you can tell by all of this hieroglyphic writing I put up for you. But anyway, that Caveman Riff is basically just 2 chords, 1 and 5 in C sharp minor. You know, I love that key, so this whole song is pretty much dedicated to that key. So anyway, once that whole thing is done, at the 208 mark, we get this movement. And that goes on for a little bit. This is where I'm toying around with both of these. As you can see, they're pretty similar. And again, guys, like I said, chord-wise, we're looking at kind of just the same usages. I'm not playing with too many different chords. It's just the way you voice them. You know, decorating with 7s and 13s and 9s, you cannot go wrong with that. I don't think this song has many 11s, but I do like 13s a lot. It adds a lot of ambiguity and lots of tension. So verse 1 comes back again with that same Caveman Riff. Sorry guys, it's been a while. I'm not that good at guitar. That's why I got Dallas, because he's an actual guitarist. So anyway, now we get into some more meat. This bridge 2 section, which is where this riff comes in. These chords, this foreshadows kind of what the chorus is going to be like, with just the 2 cool riffs in between them. All right, so you know, we got simple A, E over G sharp, C sharp minor, B. Oh, what is this, a pop song? Seems that way. Basic chords. Until I decided to be cute and throw in a C13 at a flat 5, which all you guitar nerds out there, basically make a C power chord, but include the bottom string. So you get that A. And then instead of this 5th, drop the 5th down to the 4th fret, but keep the bottom, and you'll get this chord. I love it. It's so pretty, yet so nasty at the same time. And it makes a great transition into the D7 here. Speed that up, that's how we get to the Caveman Riff again. No, that's when the cool riffs come in. So that riff, that happens a bunch of times, right into the that whole thing. I wrote both of those riffs on separate occasions, and I was almost going to trash the first one, I think. I was like, I don't know if this is really going to work or not. And then once I realized that they both flow in and out of each other pretty well. You know, it doesn't really matter what order you put them in. I just put the faster one first and the groovier one second, because the slower, groovier one goes right into the chorus 1 seemingly well. So that's what I did there. So anyway, that's where those 2 riffs come from. It's cool how when you write something and it doesn't work at first, but you write something else in the song, and then you realize that what you wrote did work, just not in the way you wanted it to or thought of in the beginning. So, side tangent, short lesson. for writing riffs, never completely throw anything away until the song is done. Because you never know, you may use that riff somewhere else along the road. But anyway, let's go on. Chorus finally hits. This is the vast skies cannot contain you. It's that section. Pretty similar to this progression right here. All right, and I just love the chords here. Not playing it the best, but that's what that sounds like. Sort of the same. I don't bring that back in because I'm being a little nicer, you know, it's a chorus. But anyway, but I end the same. I still do that. Make yourself known. I do that D7 to the G sharp thing to set it up for 1, which, nerd alert, that's your classic example of a Neapolitan going to the major 5, dropping down to the 1 again. So that's a pretty characteristic feature in this song. Verse 1 prime, okay, and we're almost done this section. So verse 1 prime is just, it's the Caveman Riff again, but with some pauses. There it is. Same Caveman Riff. Honestly, when that lead comes in, bum 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 bum. It's a pretty easy octave lead. That is honestly my favorite part of the song. So if anyone were to ever ask me, it is the Caveman Riff with the very simple lead over it. Sometimes the simple stuff that is what gets you, but it's all the sustaining action that's going on there. That lead is manipulating some of those chords in a way that it really stresses their ominence and just their meanness. That section's very mean. And because that section is very mean, we get to the 2 pummeler riff section. So, boy, let's see if I can remember how to do this. And then when the vocals come in, it's that same riff, but you're doing them all power chord shapes, so it sounds a lot slammier. I'm not even doing it right. It goes into that 7/8 riff. That's honestly the first time we changed time signature. That riff right there is in 7/8. Mike will tell you it is a pain. It was a pain to record that riff with a metronome because there's no downbeat anything. It's just, here's a bunch of 8th notes. They turned out to be a 7/8 riff. Do that a few times. So that could technically be considered a polyrhythm, I suppose. I did want to mention this bridge right here, the so that's one of the polyrhythm sections. And this isn't that hard of a polyrhythm. You just kind of have to ignore the fact that they're all hits. If you keep the tempo in the background, bum 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 bum, that's all it is. It's a bunch of dotted 8th notes strung together, and some of them overlap measures, which is why the rhythm doesn't feel It's not predictable. Like, it's very, okay, we're bouncing, where are we going? But those tom hits, the dun dun dun, that's supposed to help you restart on the measure. When this riff comes back again, and that's the next part after the pummeler riff, Mike, halfway through it, does kind of the, he kind of gives you that snare on a beat that you don't really expect, and I love that about Mike. He always finds a way to really shove a different beat in your face than you were expecting, and to me, that's probably one of the most kicking parts of the whole song, because you're used to that dun 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 dun. Where do I headbang to? Like, oh yeah, that's like one of those stank face groove moments. Like, oh man. So anyway, that is part one. So Magnify, we are through the pummeler riffs. We're about halfway done in the song. Then part two, we're gonna go. We're gonna get to the key change, the big glorious moment where Mike's voice just soars to the heavens and I get to harmonize with him, and it's super fun. And we get to the ending part, and then we'll talk a little bit more about vocal harmonies, especially how I figured those out in the next video. But that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully it wasn't too nerdy, but for those who wanted the nerdiness, I will have a document made sort of like this. If you absolutely want it, just message me or message the Diathek page, and I'll send this to you. I mean, I don't care if you know any of this stuff. If you can read that, then cool. Yeah, so anyway, you guys have a great day. We'll see you in part two.